And welcome, my lovelies.
You got a shot, a face shot of me.
And then you messed me up. See, now it's your fault. I need you. Where's the quarter? That quarter's on you. Good evening, my lovelies. Welcome to another journey down the stream of consciousness towards the river of love. Onwards towards, we should change that sea of tranquility to the lake of serenity, and onwards towards the sea of late night love.
Okay.
I think that one's actually better. Anyway, good evening, everybody. How you doing? That's kind of the perfect description of how my week has gone. And so right there, it's how about you, my love?
I had a good week. I went and saw him. I got one really good friend. We smoked weed and play Yahtzee and watched baking shows, and we gossip, and we had a fun time. I see her once a month. Mm-hmm. We have our monthly smoke out.
Yeah, and it's part of the reason we're doing therapy week. One of my friends on Facebook, a young man, and he's dealing with an issues. He has this thing coming up where he was a big event coming up, and he thought he was feeling stressed and anxious over that, but that was past. It was fine, and he's still feeling stressed and anxious. And so he says, something's wrong with me. And I says, going to a counselor was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
That was my response to him. Just seeing a counselor was the best decision I ever made. Because there's times when it's not necessarily you need help, it's you need someone who has your interest at heart, but who also has a external perspective to help you kind of work through things, because you can get lost in your own head.
Very easily. I can very easily get lost in my own head.
And one of the comments to my reply was something about the Lord. You rely on the Lord and the conversation with the Lord. But the Lord helps those who help themselves. And he gave people with a talent to help people through these issues, a talent and a desire, so people who have these issues have someone to reach out to and help. I mean, that's why we have this wondrous diversity of talents, wants, needs, desires. I mean, I'm not a very religious person, but I can easily put myself how people can be religious. I can see it very easily. I can almost be there. I just lack the faith. That one thing, that leap, I can't do it. But I can see all the various benefits and all the ways that it can help impact people's lives. And we have priests and rabbis and all the various pastors and ministers. And these people in the past were our therapists.
Yes.
You went to your clergy. You went to the town council. You went to the town elder. That was your therapist. Now we have people who are trained professionals who are actually even better than that. God gave us tools. If you believe in God, God gave us tools. Why wouldn't you use them?
It's like it's part of a grand design.
But if you believe it now, and even if you don't, it's the wondrous diversity of human existence.
Human existence. Yes.
Kind of the chaos of evolution has created this vast skills of wants, needs, and desires. That means there are people there when people need you. There are people who want to help, people who need help.
Yes.
And it's a wondrous thing. Whether it's religious-based or whether it's evolutionary-based, doesn't freaking matter. It ends up in the same place. And so that's kind of why I've decided to do therapy night. And we have enough experience between the two of us to have a pretty good discussion on the user side of therapy, so to speak.
Yes.
We've gone through therapy. We've seen enough
and
therapy.
I had a bad first counselor experience, but I didn't let that get me down. I knew there were other people who had my best interest and heart out there. I gave it another shot, and I've never given up on it.
Yeah, well, you have lots of experience because your current medical situation. You change counselors and psychologists with, it changes with the moon cycles. It seems like.
Well, I'm with Kaiser,
Well, I was trying not to throw them under the bus, but hey, go ahead.
and they're under a strain. The staff was. I seem to go through counselors every 6 months, and then they get into a new program. Or
Well, what happens to the Kaiser counselors is they get enough experience to go off on their own or to join a
one
private
went
practice.
off on her own. Usually they go into other programs. They're going to start something different.
Although the young ones and kind of working their way, having to do kind of like their rounds or something.
Yes, I
Kind of
think
the
so. Yeah.
psychology rounds, so
Yes,
to speak.
I think so.
Man, but that makes it hard for their patients because one of the blessing things I have had, and I truly now understand how blessed it is I've had the same counselor for 15 years.
See, I like that I get different perspectives. I don't like that I have to tell my big long story, over and over again. That gets a little hard, because it's an emotion. You got to walk past all those emotions again. But this is the system that I'm in.
Yeah, well, you have such a positive attitude going through it, and you've been through so much. And so that's why I really thought you might have a good thing to say tonight, because this is something we have good experience on.
Yes, we have different experiences too, so we can give different perspectives.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So what's it like having a counselor for that long? How long have you had her?
It's been like 15 years.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Well, my first experience with a counselor was as a teenager, and it wasn't great. It's I was acting out teenager type of thing, stealing cars, and I wanted to go, what the heck what's going on with you? Because something's not right. And we were trying to figure out, and we didn't know about anxiety disorder then. So what's the first thing they do back in the early to mid 80s?
They put you on meds?
No, I never got to the meds. They show you those Inkblots.
No way. You had the Rorschach test?
I had the Inkblot things. Yeah, I had the Inkblot things, and of course, all I saw was freaking Inkblots. I didn't see anything, so I went and started making stuff up, just so I could move on. Well, okay, fine. I see a space shuttle taking off. Well, anything else? Most people see more than one thing. Fine, a butterfly. It's well, if you're going to make me see something, I didn't see anything in it. Doesn't that tell you something? Isn't that an answer? Isn't there something in your book that says, well, if you don't see anything in these Inkblot tests, throw them away, use a different test?
Yes, really.
You would think there would be something different, but no. And I don't necessarily think it put me off. As a teenager, you don't know, and there was so much we didn't know about what I was dealing with then. It really took to probably my third nervous breakdown before I decided, I'm being stupid. and kind of went to counseling and started working through it. But 15 years with a single counselor. Well, the nice thing is we can get to business at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
It doesn't take us any time at all to get down to whatever the heck it is. It takes us no time. And in a sense, almost half of on a good month, because I only see her monthly now. I used to see her weekly, and now I only see her monthly. Because it doesn't take that much time anymore. Because we can get done what I used to do in a week, or in 4 sessions over the course of the month. We can do it in 40 minutes. 30-40 minutes.
Well, that's the thing about self-analysis and reflection. It gets easier over time and with practice. And and I think the biggest thing about that is it becomes less scary.
Mhm.
At first, it's just really scary. Everything's really scary.
Yeah, and we have to remember when you first see a counselor, you are usually at a very low place.
Yes.
You aren't feeling good about yourself. You're feeling insecure, and over time, you're starting to feel better about yourself. You're in a different spot in kind of the relationship. So if you had to tell someone who's on the fence about going to counseling, what would you expect? What would you tell them to do about when you start? Okay, I need to go see. Someone's decided I'm on the fence about going to counseling, but I know I need to go. What do I do? What's my next step?
I would say start shopping around and ask counselors, what's your school of thought? I mean, do you, and maybe look into it a little yourself. Do you want a Freudian? I avoid Freudians. I don't want to talk about my parents.
You've been there, done that.
I've done that.
But there might be, but maybe that's what you need.
Years. If I wanted to revisit it, I would choose a Freudian. If I wanted to revisit my parents, I like Rogerians. I like talk therapy. I believe I have all the answers. I just need a little guidance in getting there.
Yeah, but see, of course, we've been through
the sounding board. I like the sounding board. Someone who listens and will give me their honest opinion and their experience. I want to hear their experience. They've got a lot of human experience. I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Now, one of the things you shouldn't expect from a counselor is answers.
No answers. You get a lot of questions. Why do you feel that way?
Their job isn't.
Let's talk about that.
Their job isn't like a real doctor. Oh, you've got a broken leg. Here's your. That's not how counseling works.
No.
I mean, it kind of can help.
Well, that's what my psychiatrist does. She's all about the pad. Tell me your symptoms. Okay, here you go. Bye-bye.
Well, that's actually another thing, because there's a difference between a psychiatrist and say a counselor or a therapist.
Yes.
And they do different things. And so if you don't need a psychiatrist, stick with a counselor. They're cheaper, for one. And if all you really need is kind of talk therapy. And while there's often a couch, love seat type of thing in a counselor, you don't lay down on the couch. There's none of that. I don't know where the hell these people come. Is that from the old days? Where the ladies would go in for their crisis treatment, and where they get the couch and you lay down. Is that the hysteria treatment type thing? Is that where they come in and you lay down on the couch?
What the hell are you talking about?
You remember the old days?
Stop it. I know what you're talking about. I can't believe you're saying it.
But because I've never seen or heard about anybody going to an actual counselor and laying down on a couch and having to talk with a counselor. Never. In my entire life. But yet we all seem to think that you go into the thing, you lay down on the couch and you bury your soul. That's not what happens. You sit down. They sit down across depending upon their office. Usually they've got a chair and you get like a love seat or something a little comfier, a little cushionier.
A little more casual, yeah.
Yeah. And you have a conversation like normal human beings. It's not, you don't lay down on a couch. Now there's tissues and stuff nearby so you can have, but it's just a conversation.
A plant.
You get a 50.
There's always a clock. You get 45 minutes.
Well, see, I'm lucky.
50 minutes.
55 minutes. Something like school.
Minutes, yeah.
Kind of like school. And it doesn't necessarily as expensive as you think. It can go anywhere from $50 an hour to $150 an hour.
And you don't have to go every week. You can go every other week. I found,
or every month if you get to the point.
Every month if that's all you can afford.
Or it's all you need.
That's all you need. Yeah. I find once a week is really intense.
Yeah, there's times when you need once a week, though. There are times you kind of need that. Otherwise, it prevents you from going downhill.
Yes. But it is intense. Is all I wanted to say. And it's a good bit of work. And that's what another point, you're not going to be able to get out of doing the work. That it's, there's a lot of rehashing and and looking at things in trying to look at a new perspective. It doesn't, just because you looked at something once doesn't mean you're not going to revisit it from time to time in your life.
And we have to remind people that the biggest energy user in your body is your brain. So thinking a lot, concentrating, uses a lot of energy. It's actual work.
Yeah, you got to be good to yourself.
I mean, it is actual work.
During this time, it is actual work. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so we don't want anybody, because a lot of people think, what do you mean it's work? You're just sitting there thinking. And yeah, and that takes a lot of energy. Your brain actively concentrating, actively thinking uses a lot of energy. That's why people who work in an office, sit over grinding out every day, are exhausted at the end of the day, because that continually active brain, that continual concentration, is exhausting. And when you're doing it, and when you're going through an emotional stuff and working on yourself, which is something no one really wants to do. Come on, let's be honest. Who wants to take an honest look at themselves in the mirror and take an honest judgment of not where other people think you failed, where you think you failed? It's even worse. That's even worse. I can take other people's judgment, go jump off a bridge. Oh man, mine. God, that's the worst thing. And you have to deal with that. You have to become comfortable with that. Where, no, this is an act of love. It's an act of self-love. It's an act of self-care. It's because I have to figure out where I am, who I am, where I'm going, what I'm doing. And I can't do that unless I decipher this big ball of stuff that I can't decipher. Because if you could decipher it, you wouldn't be considering going to a counselor. And that's kind of rough. That's kind of in a sense, that's a bit of tough love. And we don't like doing that. But there's times when, if you're considering going to a counselor, go to one. If you have to ask the question, go to one. It won't hurt.
You don't have to go for a long time. You can just go and check it out.
Go check it out. But learning how to be more introspective, learn how to be better to yourself, learn how to be able to honestly look at yourself and figure out who you are, where you want to go, what your real goals are. Because we often forget what our real goals are. The day-to-day grind makes our real goals hard to see sometimes. And we end up, I don't want to say sacrificing ourselves or our ethics or who we are, but we forget our better nature and trying to get through the day. And who can blame it? It's not like there's no blame, but responsibility isn't necessarily about blame. Maybe it's not even your fault. Maybe everything you've done is because something happened to you as a child, and it's all consequence of that, and it's not entirely your fault. But sadly, it is your responsibility. And whether it's a trauma or you're just stressed out because the last year has been insanely stressful, be kind to yourself. Talk to somebody. Talk to a professional. I could argue you could talk to people like us if you don't feel you need a professional. Just have a conversation with people who are open about having conversations, who are open and honest and caring. You don't actually need a counselor if you're not, your best friend who you can be completely honest with, who can be completely honest with you, might very well be good enough for your emotional health. And if you can take care of your emotional health, you maybe never actually need to get to the point where you have to take care of your mental health. But we've all been stressed for so long, and Lord knows when it's going to end. We can't. Don't put it off any longer. To my friend out there, I hope you'll take the time and are catching this. I tell him that he often is a cause of some topics. So, Oscar, if you're out there, we love you, man. Talk to somebody. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just a human being. Talk to somebody. Not just Oscar, everybody.
I think one thing that I have come up against personally, and that I've heard about from other people in suggesting, that counseling might be helpful to them. Their response, and mine was too, it has been at certain points, I'm afraid to talk to somebody because I'm afraid they're going to find that I'm crazy.
Yes.
And I'm going to be certified, and I'm going to lose my liberties, and they're going to lock me away. That my thinking is so twisted.
Well, there is you want to know a little dirty little secret to that? If you're so worried about that, then you're not really the problem. Because when you actually get to that point,
when you're actually so twisted, you don't really care.
You're so disconnected from reality. The reality that's not even on your radar anymore. That's so. But at that stage, that's when you need to go talk to somebody, because you're not interpreting the world right.
Well, what I do is I check out my counselor. I give them bits at a time. I don't blow open. I make them earn my trust just like anybody else. Damn it.
Yeah, and there's times when you can't, right? If you're in crisis, you kind of have.
If you're in crisis,
you kind of have to cross your fingers.
Yeah,
you kind of have to cross your fingers.
Anybody who's reaching out to you at that point in time, yeah,
but
it's a lifeline.
If you've got time and you can, you'd want to check out, just like any other person who's doing a very personal service for you. You want to make sure that they're the right person for that service.
And it's okay to say, "Hey, I'm, this bothers me. This concerns me about this part of my treatment. Can you explain it more to me? Why you do this way?" That's okay to ask. It's okay to ask questions, and they're providing a service. You are employing them.
Yeah, it's like you do some basic research on your tattoo artist, don't you? Well, you want to do at least the same thing for your therapist. You don't just walk into any old tattooist and say, "Hey, just ink me up," do you? Well, maybe if you're drunk on a late Saturday night type of thing. But if you're someone who's a tattoo artist, you use tattoo as a genuine art. You don't just use anybody. You find someone you trust, and you go back to them, and that's the same thing with. And I don't know anything about tattoos, by the way. You ain't poking me with no needles. But
oh, come on, just one.
No, you're not poking me with one needle either. No, it's not going to happen.
Just one tattoo.
No.
Mother on your shoulder.
I'll get one of those that you can put on and you put on and you rub it on and then it comes off in the shower.
The temporary tattoos.
You can paint one on me. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. No one ain't touching me with no needle. We've gone over this one before, woman. You don't put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari.
Well, my tattoos seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're not. Hey, I still love you, so whatever you want. Tattoos, even me, who don't particularly like tattoos, they see past them when you love somebody, so it doesn't matter. Or you just don't see them. I actually don't see them, which is very weird. I know they're there, but I somehow just don't see them.
You don't see them?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what they are.
Oh, really?
Really. I just don't see them. It's kind of embarrassing, but
so
there it is.
Funny. Well, one is a fairy, and one is the Gothic letter C with bat wings. It's the second one. That was my goth phase.
Jen, I remember where the one is, but I just don't see it.
Well, they aren't your thing. Tattoos aren't your thing.
And it wasn't a conscious decision. It's like I just, and I guess they're subtle enough where I don't have to pay much attention to it. They're not in my face.
Well, thank you. They're tasteful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I tried for that.
So, but it's also, that kind of thing would never be a deal breaker for me anyway. So,
Yeah.
I'm not that shallow. I like to think. I mean, I'm sure I probably got some shallow thing somewhere but I just haven't tripped over it yet, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So there.
But what about when I'm gone? You have to love again.
It's all right. I love my hair, so that's all good. I've always got my hair.
I'll pick somebody out for you before I go.
Oh, that'll work well. Yeah, no, thank you. You're not that much older than me. God. And the way I'm thinking, you'll probably outlive me. You do realize that, right?
No way.
I mean, no way.
No way.
I'm already broken and I'm only 50.
No way.
One. I'm just saying.
Your heart's good.
Says who? My heart is kind. My heart is generous. My heart is compassionate. Whether my heart is strong long term, who the hell knows? That's just one of those things you don't know until you find out. I didn't mean to get all morose or anything. I apologize. I'm just saying. In theory, we shouldn't actually die that far apart because of the way, the life expectancy things work. So we're all right. I ain't gonna want to find nobody else. It'll take me 5 years to get to the point where I even want to bother, and then I won't want to bother because I'll just be too old and cranky. Get off my lawn, you dang whippersnappers! God, I'm already like that now.
I'll get you a little dog.
No.
Little yippy dog.
No.
That you can carry around and put in outfits and shit.
No. That's not a dog. That's food. It's food for predators. All right. Now, on that pleasant thought, we're going to take our quick break for our sponsor. And we are back. Thank you guys for joining us and hanging around. Yes, my lovey, we were 30 seconds early for our break. You looking like over there like it's a shock to you that we're actually early to our break on this one. It was just a good spot to end. And we haven't done any plugging.
I'm just surprised it's been half an hour already.
Oh, okay. Because you were looking at that. You looked at me like, what are you doing going to break? I guess you were looking at me like what we're doing going to break and went fast. No, it was half an hour just about already.
Yeah.
That was a quick half hour, and we didn't do any plugging for anybody, anything. So if you guys would please help us out, you can go to Anchor FM/Late Night Love and click the support button and do us the big favor. Like, share, subscribe, do all that great fun stuff that everybody likes to do on social media. It helps with all the algorithms and blah, 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 blah. All right. So, finishing therapy night. Do we have anything else we wanted to finish on that? I think we kind of talked ourselves out of that. It's just go into therapy if you can. There's nothing mysterious about it. There's no big brouhaha. Find someone you can talk to and just talk to them. It's really all it is. You have to have the courage to talk to them. It's hard to start because it's hard to know what to talk about. That's the hardest thing. right? You sit down.
Yeah, because the first thing they ask you is, okay, what brings you here today? You know, what would you like to work on? You know,
Yeah, and your first time with a counselor, or first time with a counselor as an adult. I don't know what the hell I'm
I
doing.
don't know what the fuck.
What happens here? What happens is you sit down and you tell them what's bothering you. You just start there.
How you feel?
Yeah,
I feel like
I'm feeling off.
Yeah.
I'm feeling off. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling nervous. I'm kind of bouncing off the walls. I thought it was this big thing coming up, but that happened and I was fine and it's fine, and yet I'm still feeling this big. Start with that. And you'll be surprised how fast you end up with just talking, especially if you and the other person have any kind of rapport. Because that's what you need. You need someone who can talk to you, who won't judge you. You're literally paying to sit there and talk to you without fear. Because it's not that you won't judge me, it's the fear that you will judge me is what keeps people from talking to their spouse, their parents, their loved ones. It's not that their parent or loved one will actually judge them. You won't actually judge me.
No.
If I have something to need to talk to you about, if I'm feeling mentally insecure or whatever it is, you're not going to judge me. But yet the fear would be there. Why wouldn't it? We're human. We always fear rejection. Every single one of us. Because what's the biggest fear of any human being? Being left alone out in the cold without access to food, water, and your community. Ostracized. Fear of rejection. Kicked out your tribe is the most dangerous thing that can happen. It's evolution. Binds us, but it also binds us together. It binds us together. Makes us need each other. Makes us want to need each other. The world is a strange yet beautiful, wondrous, creepy place. All right. So the second half of our therapy thing, you've got over there, 7 things therapists tell us we shouldn't tell our daughters.
No, 5 things.
5 things.
A child psychiatrist wants us to stop saying to our daughters.
Well, that was close, kind of.
And I think there's a lot of discussion here.
All right. Well, first, we have to get full disclosure. I've raised mostly boys. I have one daughter, and I picked up a couple, sort of along the way. I got the stepdaughter.
You have 3 stepdaughters.
Well, yeah, but the relationship with the older 2 aren't really. I wouldn't refer to them as stepdaughters. I appreciate the thought, but we don't have the relationship. So it's the relationship that makes the.
Yeah.
You were already well into adulthood, raising. It was.
Yeah, you lived with the youngest.
Yeah, with the youngest. Went through the teenage years, the formative years. We built a strong bond. It's a father-daughter bond. It's a wondrous gift. But then we picked up the wayward one.
The wayward one, yes.
Daughter unit number 2. Yeah. So So, but it's mostly boys. 4 boys. I can raise boys. I know what I'm doing with boys. Girls, I'm guessing. So.
Well, I took a look at this article. I think you're going to have something to say.
Now, you got the 3 girls, so you do have the experience raising girls. So.
Now, the first thing they don't want us to say is you look pretty.
Well, that's good. I hate saying pretty. It's a childish word.
With daughters, you never want to focus on their appearance when giving praise. It gives the wrong message in terms of what is valued. Now, I take issue with the with the word never. I don't understand why you can't sometimes say you look pretty.
Yeah, why can't you tell your young men you look handsome today?
You
Hey, you
look
look.
handsome.
Yeah, it's just.
You know, they get all spiffied up. They're going
Yeah.
to a wedding, or they're going to a dance. I mean, who doesn't like to hear about that? I appreciate when I don't hear it often, but when I get gussied up, when I make an effort, you always say something.
Yeah, well, I think I personally I think the word pretty is a bit childish, so I don't like using it as an adult. Now, maybe it's a goofy thing, but I do tell you in more eloquent ways.
Yes.
Yeah, I just don't use the word pretty
Yeah.
because I don't know, it's I feel like a child if I use the word pretty. It's who knows where the hell it comes from. I mean, that's something to talk to my freaking therapist about. There we go. Just in case we were running out of things to say, there's one.
Why can't you tell Christina she's pretty?
I can't tell anybody you're pretty. Why the heck do I think the word pretty is a childish word? Because it's not that I don't think you're pretty or I'm not willing to tell you you're pretty. I think pretty is a childish word, and I feel like a child saying it.
Well, maybe that's the joy of it.
Yeah, but I don't mind being a child. Jesus Christ,
You
I'm a
are
child
a
all the time. That's what I'm saying. So why does that bother me? It's just something to talk about in therapy. That's all. That's one of those things that when you get long down in therapy, you start to get, well, why the hell does that still exist then? And so you start working on these things. That's what happens when you've been in therapy for 15 years. You start working.
You got to start working on the little nitty gritty.
Yeah. So where does that one come from then?
The questions that go fleeting in the night.
Well, no, but there is a bigger issue there. It comes from somewhere, and so
it comes from somewhere. So something's up.
Something's up somewhere. Anyway. Yeah. So what's next?
Okay, number 2. Go give Uncle Larry a hug. All children, especially girls, should be allowed to develop body autonomy and decide who gets to touch them and when, even at an early age.
I completely agree, but why especially girls?
That's a very good question. Why does this not go for boys?
Why are we less afraid of boys being abused or having body autonomy issues than girls? There's no real evidence to show that. In children, they're abused equally. And so where we get that? That's an interesting question. Yes. But that's the only thing. I mean, I completely, the underlying issue, I completely agree with. You shouldn't be forcing children to stop it. No, if they want to go hug Uncle Larry, they'll go hug Uncle Larry when they're ready. I've never, ever forced a child to. No, if they're not ready, no, I'm not going to. What am I? I'm the adult. What the hell? What am I going to be offended because a 2-year-old doesn't want to give me a hug? What the hell's wrong with you? You're the adult. They're 2. Leave them alone.
My 2-year-old granddaughter, she's still a mama's girl. And I babysat a couple times, so I'm very suspect. Whenever I come over, she thinks I'm there to babysit. And she's just not warmed up. And she's not that affectionate, but when she does, we have our moments. Damn it! When she's 3, I'm gonna be the shit. I ain't worried about it. What the heck? I'm so insecure.
Yeah, well, I'm happy she just doesn't scream when I enter the room anymore.
She used to cry every time you walk in.
I just walk in the door to pick you up, and she'd scream. I'm just standing here. But, she's a baby. I'm an adult. I'm just somebody new with goofy looking hair. Yeah, I can be scary. I get it. It's all good.
Well, you're very tall.
I'm scary. I'm got tall, got the long hair. I get it. I get why a child would be kind of weirded out by me. I'm not going to be offended. No freaking child.
They will in their own time, and it's that.
And they'll respect me all the more for it.
And yes, you will be that much higher in their affection.
Yeah, because I respected their boundaries.
Because you respect their boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll know why they can be trusted.
Yeah.
So it does benefit, being the adult in the relationship does actually benefit long term. God, I don't understand how people can get actually offended. My 5-year-old niece won't give me a hug. So?
What have you done lately?
So what? Leave her alone. Okay, what's next? I'm just going to start ranting over the same thing and circling. So I better move on.
No, I don't agree with this one.
Okay, well, we had to make sure that was clear up front. Huh?
Up front. You're not supposed to say you made me proud or I'm proud of you.
Wait, what?
Because for girls, the need to please is something that's pretty much taught at birth.
No, the need to please is inherent in almost every human being. Okay, who wrote this thing? Where's this from?
It's a child psychologist.
Yeah, which crackerjack box did this child psychologist get? Hold on, I'm gonna look. What crack box did this child psychologist get their child psychology degree from? All right, I'm gonna actually sit there and talk to my counselor about this one. I'm gonna send this to her.
Yeah, send this one to her.
Because some of this doesn't make any sense.
I'd love to hear what she has to say.
She's a published author, so she knows her stuff. All right.
So we don't agree with that one.
No, so what was that was all their explanation? Was just because girls are somehow...
Instead, you're supposed to say, wow, you must be so proud of yourself.
Oh, good God.
To show that they are their own compass.
You do realize that the child is going to interpret those two phrases exactly the same way. You're proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. For the child, it's going to be interpreted as the same thing. Unless they're into their teenage years, they're going to be interpreted the exact same way. You're telling them proud. That's what they're going to hear. Whether you phrase it as you're proud of yourself, you should be proud of yourself, which you shouldn't be telling the child how to feel. Stop telling children how to feel. Leave them alone. You feel how they feel. Why are you going to tell them how they're supposed to feel? You should be so proud. Why? Maybe they're not proud. Maybe they butted the job, but it came out right anyway, and they shouldn't really be proud. They should be kind of, well, I snuck away with one. Just don't tell them how to feel. Tell them how you're feeling. I'm proud of you. It's a great accomplishment. It looks great. It must have been hard work. I'm proud of you. Or it looks like it was hard work. I'm proud of you. Tell them how you're feeling. Don't tell them how. Who wrote this? Crackerjack wrote this stuff. Pure wow. Okay, well, all right. This is a critical critique of what the hell Crackerjack child psychologist wrote this nonsense. I didn't mean for it to be, but it is. The Crackerjack kind of BS is that. Don't tell your child, oh, you want to make sure that... all right. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, number 4. Someday you and your husband will, when we assume a certain sexual orientation, we're setting up a standard or expectation, whether we mean to or not.
No, for the love of God. We're not... Well, okay, they might be technically correct, but it's technically correct for 80% of the people. You can't run around micromanaging your speech for every possible potential scenario. And I understand you want to have an environment where the child feels perfectly safe to be whomever they choose to be and live the life however they need to freely be, whether it's I don't care if you have a same-sex spouse, you have 3 spouses, I don't give a crap. Be whomever you are, and they should have the freedom to do that. But at the same time, you should have the freedom to express yourself and raise your family as you see fit. You shouldn't have to walk around on eggshells. Did I say the right exact phrase? That's no way to live either. That's no way to teach your child how to live. I mean, you want to be kind and compassionate towards other people, but you got to be kind and compassionate to yourself. Walking around on eggshells, micromanaging every single phrase, every single word. Just tell people how you feel. And if you do that and you let them know that they're free how to tell you feel, your child will go, Mom, Dad, I don't really feel like having a husband. I just want to have my career, or I want to find my Susie and have, a wife, or whatever it is. If you have a open, compassionate, loving relationship, no matter what you tell them, you'll be able to easily overcome it. Because they'll be free to tell you, that's not what I want.
Yes.
You don't have to manage it into them. You just raise it into them. You raise that kindness, compassion, and understanding into everything you do. You don't have to macromanage these kind of things. You can tell them when you're in your husband, and they'll go, I don't want a husband. Okay.
When you become a parent, well, I don't think I want kids.
Yeah. Oh, save you a shit ton of money. Sweet. Whatever it is. Yeah. There's no reason to, but there's also, it gives you an opportunity to talk to them and help them talk about what they're feeling and why they're feeling that way. Yeah. It's an opportunity to be the counselor for your child. You can't micromanage these things. They're in a sense, they're complaining about how society's impact has on the way children are being raised. And so we're going to solve that by doing it deliberately. Society accidentally puts all these pressures on people. So instead of accidentally doing it, we're going to do it on purpose. Because is not telling someone who would otherwise want to have a husband and a family, and we're not going to mention it because we don't want to pressure you that way, but now you're not telling them something's available that they want to do. You're taking that dream, you're diminishing that dream of the majority. It's not right either. It's building this kindness, compassionate, and loving, relationships where everybody's free to do what they want and become who they want to be. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you're going to love this last one.
Oh, God. That wasn't 5?
No, number 5.
Oh, God.
Okay, you're not allowed to say, I need to lose weight.
I can't say I need to lose weight, but I need to lose 10 pounds.
It can lead to long-term issues with body image.
But I need to lose 10 pounds. I can't say I need to lose 10 pounds?
No.
Oh, I can't tell her she needs to lose 10 pounds.
No, you can't tell. You're not allowed to talk about yourself.
So they're actually telling you to do the exact opposite of what you should actually be doing, is having open and honest dialogue and discussion with your children. A positive body image isn't being necessarily comfortable with where you are. It's being it's not being derogatory towards yourself to where you are. When I'm sitting at 215 pounds, I need to lose weight. I need to stop eating potato chips, and I need to lose weight.
I know, that's all it takes for you. It takes me weeks.
Well, it takes me weeks to lose it. But anyway, but I can lose 10 pounds simply by stop eating potato chips. I really can. But not telling anybody that, I've gotten fat. Part of me getting that impetus to stop eating potato chips is the fact that I tell people, damn, I'm getting fat. I need to stop eating potato chips. If I don't express that, then I don't acknowledge that it's true. That's, again, one of the things about going to counseling. You get to express things that you can acknowledge as true.
And I don't think it's body shaming.
No, you have to become... How are you teaching people to be comfortable with their body if you're not allowed to talk about your body openly?
Yeah.
You're literally telling people, don't talk about your body openly because you might send the wrong message about talking about your body openly. It's literally daft. You want to be careful how you discuss it. Yes, I completely agree. You want to make sure you don't send the wrong message. You don't want to send the message that being, overweight makes you less of a person, makes you less worthy. Completely agree. But you know what? Making you overweight makes you less healthy, makes you harder on your knees, makes it harder on your joints, makes all kinds of things that are unhealthy for you. Not to mention make the potential for diabetes and all the other things that I should have by now because of my Dr. Pepper habit. But I'm not going to be allowed to tell my daughter that, my drinking Dr. Pepper all the time is bad for my health because she may think that it's the cause of her wide hips instead of, she has genetically wide hips.
Makes no sense.
You've got to talk about it. If I can't tell my daughter, she says, I'm feeling fat. I got these hips bother me. Yeah, sorry. It's your mother's side of the family. It is what it is. Some of that is just there. Sorry. It is what it is. We accept it because it is what it is. But if you not allowed to talk about it openly and without freaking walking on eggshells, it's this whole thing. They want you walking on eggshells. It's the wrong message to send to your family, send to your daughters, that you have to micromanage your discussion, micromanage your life. No, you should be able to openly and honestly discuss your feelings, your emotions.
Without judgment.
Yeah, you're judging them because, you're afraid that your daughter's going to misinterpret your view of your own body. So you can't. They're hurting two people. They're hurting you because you're not allowed to openly judge you openly discuss your own body image. And then you're not giving your daughter the chance to have an open and honest discussion about how to deal with body image issues. Discussion solves problems. Compassion, open discussion solves even more problems. Not hiding behind things. Not being so afraid of using the wrong phrase that we can't discuss things. It doesn't solve anything. It just hides things under the rug. It's actually a very disturbing article. Anyway, so we got 5 minutes left. What do you want to do?
Okay, I have a quick for any women over 40 out there. 7 sleep tips and why insomnia gets worse as we age. I've been having issues with this recently, and we're going to just blaze through these. Give yourself a last call on liquids. Now, when you have to get up a couple of times a night, that interrupts your sleep pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so does waking up because you're thirsty. So I don't know about women. Maybe men and women are different in that way. But I'd rather actually have to get up to go pee and have to wake up all the time because I'm freaking thirsty. But maybe that's a gender plumbing fitting thing. I don't know.
Huh. Okay, number 2, turn the thermostat down. Well, that's not going to happen in our house.
I mean, in our house, you're the one with the electric blanket. What are you talking about?
I love my electric blanket.
I sweat. I sleep naked and sweat in the wintertime.
We only have the thermostat turned to 70, so I don't understand what the issue is.
Because you have a heater and an electric blanket. And that's what the issue is. All right, the next one.
Okay, number 3, get out of your head.
Oh, yeah, that's easier said than done.
Easier said than done. I would suggest meditation before bed. Okay, number 4, give melatonin a shot.
How's that been working?
It works good at first, but you build up a tolerance pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, but you build up tolerance to medications, so you're on lots of other medications. Well, not lots.
Not lots. Okay, pay attention to your nose.
Nose?
Yes.
What, like stuffy
Laying
nose?
down horizontally increases blood flow and mucus to the nose, causing discomfort and disturbed sleep.
So you're supposed to, what, sleep upside down like a bat?
No, I think you're supposed to blow your nose.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Do a sleep hygiene audit.
Sleep hygiene.
Do you have heavy blackout shades on the windows? Do you sleep in comfy, breathable PJs? Could be any noise from the street or the apartment above you that could be waking you up.
Or it could be the fact that you play TV shows all night long.
Did you watch TV or check email before bed? Drink a glass of wine. Eat something with chocolate. Okay, hold the fucking phone. Chocolate. I have to have my chocolate every night.
Chocolate's caffeine.
I have to have my chocolate every night.
Chocolate's caffeine.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's sweet heaven sent from above.
It's still got caffeine in it. If you're sensitive to caffeine, you're going to have to be careful with chocolate.
Okay,
you can try turning off the TV.
Number 7. This is the last one. Try square breathing.
Just not listening to me.
Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. Pause and hold your breath for a count of 4.
Wait, isn't that what you do when you're giving birth? I know it's been a long time.
No.
Okay. It's been a long time since I've taken the Lamaze class.
But that's basically what I said. That's a form of meditation.
Yeah, that sounds more like a Lamaze class than controlled breathing. It's been a long time.
No, that's
But, well, that's only part of it. There's the between breathing parts. That's the pain breathing part, the hoo part, right? That's when it's the pain when you're getting to them. But
we don't call it pain. We call it discomfort.
But then there's the between the peak pains. There's the breathing between, the afterwards, when you control the slow down breathing to get through it so you can rest, period.
The contractions. That's what we call it.
Yeah, between the two. Yeah, but I'm a guy. We're very practical. It's the pain peaks. It's the period between the pain peaks. You know, we're very practical. We don't care what other people call it. That's what we see.
It's a psychological thing.
No, I get it. It's not the psycho, but that's I get the he.
Because as a lived experience, each contraction has its own life. It builds, it peaks, and it decreases, and then there's a rest period. So they each have their own life. Some of them will hang on for a little bit longer. Some of them will Some of them will break. They don't peak as high.
And speaking of pregnancy, we just crossed over who you had 35 years ago, I guess technically yesterday.
Yes, it was yesterday now. Well, not quite. We have
No. It's just clicked over.
it's just now midnight. Yes, 35 years ago tonight, last night, I gave birth to my middle daughter, who is coming back to live here in town from Colorado. I can't wait till I can start seeing her again.
So it's actually kind of strange, but yet fitting that we ended the show on birth.
Birth.
We ended a show on therapy on birth. I don't know how that happened, but hey, journeys of love are never direct.
That's the truth.
So, for me and Lovey tonight, we want to thank everybody for joining on tonight's journey. Please remember, you can please go help us out at anchor.fm/late night love. Click the donate button, I think is what they call it over there. And help us out if you can. You can find us at latenightlove.us. Maybe, I think I've updated it since. I don't remember. I've had so much things to do this last week. I haven't seen the end of my to-do list all week.
My poor honey.
It just, tomorrow's to-do list is longer than I have hours in the day. So we'll see how that happens. But it happens. All right, so you can send us, hey, we love hearing you guys from Dear Lubby letters. So please send us those to love@latenightlove.us, or you can hit me up at Twitter at JazzRack, and we'd love to hear from you. You can always contact us here at the Facebook. And do us a favor and like, share, subscribe. From me and Lubby, please remember to not just love everybody, but love yourself. Good night.
Good night.